Peace and love, everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this quick video. I'm also gonna be showing off or giving off a good review of some product software, MyAttorney Home and Business. This brief tutorial is not legal advice. It is legal information. It is for educational and informational purposes only. The viewer's discretion is advised, especially when applying any part of this information to your daily life or faculty. If you don't feel confident or competent enough to carry out the action on your own, by all means, seek the assistance or a consultation by a pro bono lawyer or attorney. Get some free information, compare it, learn from it. If you still don't get it, hire somebody. Find somebody that can help you accomplish what it is that you need to get done. All right? We're not going to be discussing anything other than what this title is about. How to write an affidavit. This is a little bit of Moorish Science civics lessons. And with that being said, Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, let's discuss affidavits. What is an affidavit? An affidavit is a written or printed declaration or statement of facts made voluntarily and confirmed by the oath or affirmation of the party making it, taken before an officer having authority to administer such oath. If you're interested in the case law, by all means, please review Cox versus Stern. All right, Hayes R. Loomis. And an affidavit is a written declaration under oath made without notice to the adverse party. Okay, so let's discuss the affidavit and what this definition is explaining to us. It is written or printed statement of facts, all right, made voluntarily and confirmed by the oath or affirmation of the party making it, taken before an officer having authority to administer such oath. All right, so let's talk about or define who this officer having authority to administer such oath may be. Officers of the court, even an officer of the public. All right, public officer. Another definition, another synonymous term would be a notary public. All right, so such an officer, such as a notary public, makes witnesses, public officially witnesses oaths or affirmations to certain documentation regarding its content. So that's what, if you want more understanding, by all means, review the definition of oath on your own time. Who writes an affidavit? Affiant. An affiant is the person who makes and subscribes an affidavit. The word is used in the sense interchangeably with deponent, but the latter term should be reserved as the designation of one who makes a deposition. All right? More information or more inquiries as to what a deposition is, by all means, seek out or check out the links provided to you in the description bar below. Where are affidavits sent? Well, they're made without notice to the adverse party. Who's the adverse party? An adverse party is any individual or corporate entity entitled to notice of appeal, as every party whose interest in relation to the judgment or decree appealed from is in conflict with the modification or reversal sought by the appeal. Every party interested in sustaining the judgment or decree, as well as your opponent, your opposition, the opposing side, so, or just the creditor, the debtor, depending on what position it is that you're in. All these terms are all relative. It's the thing that you have to understand about anything regarding lawful activity is that it is relative. Not everything is cookie cutter. It's not one size fits all right? So you have to understand how these things pertain to you and what you should be doing to get the remedy that you feel you are entitled to, all right? When is an affidavit sent? Well, that could depend on the statute of limitation, which is a time frame set by the legislation where affected parties need to take action to enforce rights or seek redress after injury or damage. Redress is remedy or relief, all right? So if you, let's say that you were injured, uh, let's say within, someone stole something from you. All right, like someone steals some of your property, they broke in, you're a victim of burglarization. All right, theft. You have a loss of intrinsic value. Okay, well, depending on like the agency in which you've contracted with, who would protect or otherwise see your property protected, well, that agency is essentially the agency that you would complain to. So an affidavit could be in the form of a complaint. Affidavit could be in the form of a statement of facts. Your complaint could include a statement of the facts. And, we're going to get into that in just a second. But before we do, I need you to understand just a few different things in regards to what kind of affidavit you may be writing. All right. Now, a civil action, all right, an affidavit regarding a civil action in the civil law, a personal action which is instituted to compel payment or the doing of some other thing which is purely civil. All right, civil differs from criminal in the sense that the term civil is used to designate a conspiracy which will furnish ground for a civil action, as where in carrying out the design of the conspirators, overt acts are done causing legal damage. The person injured has a right of action. It is said that the gist of civil conspiracy is the injury or damage, while criminal conspiracy does not require such overt acts. Yet, so far as the rights and remedies are concerned, all criminal conspiracies are embraced within the civil conspiracies. Brown versus Pharmacy Company. All right, and you might want to see that case law also notated there. Don't worry, all this information is in the description bar. And if you've liked what you've heard so far, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Show a little support. A little support goes a long way. Not asking for payment. It's a little bit of your time and your energy. By all means, if you don't like the information so far, search for another video. Continuing on. A crime. All right, well, before we get to crime, let's discuss Civil Rights Act of 1964. Because sometimes a complaint could be written and it may not necessarily pertain to any kind of actual crime, all right, which we'll be defining in just a moment unless you're a speed reader. But in the event that there's no tangible or visibly evidence injury or damage to person or property, it could just be because there's certain prejudice involved. All right, in which case that's about any form of prejudice is considered a violation or constitutes an act of civil rights injustice. All right, so let's understand the Civil Rights Act of 1964. All right, and for those who enjoy their history, I would just ask you what civil rights leader from the state of Alabama, assisted in the formation of this act. All right, a little homework for you. Federal law ending racial segregation nationwide involved education, employment, public facilities, and voting facilities throughout the United States. It was initially resisted in southern state governments, but the federal government soon strictly enforced it. Well, look at that. The federal government strictly enforced the recognition towards equal treatment nationwide in the forms of education, like in this video, employment, which if you cannot find employment, then maybe you should create your own employment, public facilities, in which case if you cannot access certain public facilities, you may want to question the form of identification that you're using to get in and the nature in which you are choosing to enter those facilities. Voting facilities, mind you, voting is a federal national right. It's like your right to engage and participate in government, all right? And of course, if you understand American history or the history of North America, and its treatment towards its inhumane treatment to people of darker complexions, this video is not about color, all right? And if we were discussing color, we're discussing colors of Roy G. Biv. But if we have to pretend that we're discussing fake colors such as black and white, then understand that those are legal terms used to denote and to define individuals that are innocent, pure, close to God beings, or those that have been considered and deemed criminals. I'll let you think on that for a minute. But let's go ahead and define crime. A crime is an act committed or omitted in violation of a public law, either forbidding or commanding it. A breach or violation of some public right or duty due to a whole community, considered as a community in its social aggregate capacity, as distinguished from a civil injury. Wilkins versus U.S. By all means, look up these terms. Familiarize yourself with those. Okay, so crime is an act committed or omitted, all right, in violation of a public law, either forbidding or commanding it. A breach or violation of some public right or duty due to a whole community, considered as a community in its social aggregate capacity. All right, meaning, if you looked at this from a constitutional perspective, your right to free assembly. All right. If there is no violation to the right to peacefully assemble, or if there is no breach or some violation of a public law, then by all means, send the other opposing individual or the other party their affidavit regarding a crime, all right, or a criminal activity, all right. Now, here's a little bonus, because there are those out there who believe that they're writing writs, when indeed you are writing an affidavit, all right. A writ is a precept in writing couched in the form of a letter running in the name of the king, president, or state, issuing from a court of justice and sealed with its seal, addressed to a sheriff or other officer of the law, or directly to the person whose action the court desires to command, either as the commencement of a suit or other proceeding, or as incidental to its progress, and requiring the performance of a specified act or giving authority and commission to have it done. For the names and ancient sense of the word in the old books, writ is used as equivalent to action. Hence, writs are sometimes divided into real, personal, and mixed writs, right? So a writ is coming from an official of the government, whether that be local, state, federal, or international. It can also be issued from a court of justice, all right? Like if you're an individual and you are not a member to any court of justice, whether government related or common law related, then you do not write writs, all right? Like if you're a part of a body politic which has formed its own civic court structure or civic court body or community court body, by all means, as a member of that court in your official capacity, yes, you do write writs. But a lot of us are presuming that we're writing writs when in all actuality we are writing affidavits, right? So please understand the difference between the two. Motions. In practice, an occasional application to a court by the parties or their counsel in order to obtain some rule or order which becomes necessary either in the progress of a cause or summarily and wholly unconnected with plenary proceedings. Citizen Street, R. Co. versus Reed. All right. A motion is a written application for an order addressed to the court or to a judge in vacation by any party to a suit or proceeding, or by anyone interested therein. All right. So a motion is not, it can be perceived as and presumed or, viewed as a request to a court. But like before anyone starts arguing, the authority of the court, I would just beg to request that you ask yourself what venue of court it is that you're in. Because if you're not in a proper venue, then yes, you're absolutely right. You're dealing with a colorable court that presumes to hold authority over your case. But if you're in the proper venue, meaning that you filed your complaint or your affidavit in the proper venue, then you don't have much else to worry about in regards to the color of the court. You know that the color of the court is within its proper context. So just something to really just give a lot of consent or a lot of consideration and understanding to, because without that understanding, you could really just be wasting your time and also wasting the time of the individuals that, quite frankly, let those colorable courts deal with the colorable individuals. You find the proper venue. If you don't know what venue to be filing in, find an attorney or seek out some legal assistance. Or do some research. Look at the U.S. District Court's website. By all means, look up the U.S. District Court's website. And it's a fortunate thing this is a video, so you can always go back and review this information. Final point before we get into the construction of an affidavit, aka a free-form letter. Pleadings. Pleadings are the formal allegations by the parties of their respective claims and defenses. For the judgment of the court, Code Civil Procedure, California, 8420. That's funny. The individual allegations of the respective parties to an action at common law proceeding from the alternately in the order and under the distinctive names following: the plaintiff's declaration, the defendant's plea, the plaintiff's replication, the defendant's rejoinder, the defendant's sure joinder, the defendant's rebutter, the plaintiff's sure rebutter, after which they have no distinctive names. Bo, the term pleadings has a technical and well-defined meaning. Pleadings are written allegations of what is affirmed on the one side or denied on the other, disclosing to the court or jury having to try the cause, the real matter in dispute between the parties. All right? So, pleadings. Hey, in this instance, let's discuss this, right? Let's discuss this real quick, right? So, here it is that you write an affidavit, right, which is your statement of the facts or the actions and activities as it correlates to your perspective, all right, which is, now in that instance you could be the plaintiff, or if you're receiving that information you may be the defendant. All right, so here it is that the plaintiff gives a sworn declaration and statement of facts as to what injury or damage it is that they received. The defendant responds, right, with their plea, oh, that's not what happened. This is my statement of the facts. The plaintiff's replication or retelling of the story, basically their recapitulation or recap of what happened. The defendant's rejoinder, all right, which is the defendant's saying repetitive defense, hey, I didn't do anything wrong. This isn't correct. This is inaccurate, whatever, so on and so forth. And then you got the plaintiff restating what it is that's going on. The defendant's rebutter, all right, or their rebuttal, all right, like to those statements and allegations, and then the plaintiff's sure rebuttal, after which they have no distinctive names. Okay, so like that could be, they don't have any distinctive names, meaning that like this is just correspondence. This is a tennis match. You know, the initiating party, you know, from the start, ab initio, from the start is saying, hey, something happened and I need restitution, remedy, relief from the party who caused the injury. All right, and then you go on. So let's go ahead and get into constructing a free-form letter, otherwise known as an affidavit. The free-form letter, and this is also where I am, let me, reviewing MyAttorney Home and Business software. You can purchase this at any Home Depot in the computer software section. You can also order this online. I saw it was online on Amazon.com. I think there should be an Amazon affiliate link at the bottom of this, so please feel free to take a look at it. And if you purchase the product, I will make a small commission because that's what affiliate marketing products are. But so far, I have no complaints about this software, except for the fact that it's still on CD, you know, and but eventually, the technology will change, and of course, it'll catch up to where we won't even get software on CDs anymore. We'll get them on SD cards in the near future, or we'll just be downloading it straight from the service provider's website. All right. So let's discuss the elements of an affidavit, aka this free-form letter. This letter is like writing it. It's like an affidavit is another way of it is a legal form of Dear John letter. All right, that's the best way that I can describe this. All right, so you have your date, on which you write the letter. Okay, and then you start to fill out that letter with some of the necessary pertinent information, like your information, like, hey, that's my information, right? L Prince. Yes, I know it is in all uppercase letters. Let me fix that. All right, and I'm on 123 Free People Ave, in the territory of Florida. And the city is what's commonly known as Miami, out and loose within the taxable coded. The zip codes are actually an interesting thing, but that's not for this video. We'll cover that at another time. But zip codes actually relate to. They were initially used by the Federal Post Office or the United States Postal Service as a way to determine the general location of the recipient of a letter that was sent as a parcel through the United States Postal Service. All right, what happened though was in the early 1900s, I want to say in the closely to the 1930s, United States Postal Service no longer used this service. Excuse me, not the 1930s, but the 1950s. The United States Postal Service no longer used. No, excuse me, I'm incorrect again. It's in the 1970s, right at the beginning of the formation of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau through the Federal Trade Commission, because the Social Security information was being used as a common form of identification and was such personal, private information, which was being used to determine an individual's credit worthiness. That information was being used by corporations and individuals for fraudulent purposes. And one of the ways that they were able to determine this was based on the use of the application of the zip code. So the zip codes are actually very fragile personal information. So you want to make sure that all your information is correct. Otherwise, especially the zip code, if it's not in the proper if it's not in the general delivery section or of any given federal postal office, which do constitute as federal buildings, your mail will get lost. Your correspondence communication will get lost. And that's not what we want right now. Okay, so who will receive this letter? So like it's coming from you, but it's going to who? Well, you need to determine who that is. So like let's go ahead and just fill this in, and we're just going to say smack review, right? We're going to make him the CEO. Well, we're going to make it the CEO because we don't know. This agenda is becoming a very gender absent, gender extreme society. So like whatever Smack decides to identify themselves as, the company. Let's just send this to, I don't know, like let's send it to the Department. Let's send it to the Department of the Treasury, right? No, let's not put it at the Treasury because I don't want anybody, there are plenty of videos out there with people going at the Department of Treasury, so let's not go at the Department of Treasury. We'll do something like the Department of Education because, our people need to get their education. They need that educational financial aid debt. We need that cleared off, all right? So let's free these people up on that. So we're going to send this to the Department of Education. I recently wrote them a letter not too long ago, but I can't for the life of me remember where they're exactly located. So we're going to just say the 6th level of Hades, which is another way of saying like, the negative or, demonstrative portion of the afterlife within Greek mythology. Because we're going to send these to these Greek, Hadean students and followers, and we're going to let them know, hey, we're freeing the people. City, we're going to put this in somewhere in let's say Peoria. Let's go to Illinois. I don't know what the Illinois zip code is, but I think it's 77 something, right? So we're sending it up there. And like, just look at how smooth this software is, like nothing crazy. In regards, student on, and let's go to the next. What additional information do you wish to include in this letter? To whom this may concern. But remember, you already picked you found a living, breathing, flesh and blood person. So maybe you're writing it. Actually, that's right. You're sending this to Mr. Smack, right? Here, let's say to Smack review. I was doing some research and found out that in order for you to collect money from me as a creditor, there must be equal exchange of service as well as a debt collector's license to collect a debt in the state territory in which I do commercially reside. if you do not have a license to collect a debt, you must cease and desist immediately. I also noticed that my information, that the information your company provides to the credit reporting agencies is also incorrect. If this debt is not properly addressed to me, or the account information is inaccurate and unverified, you must delete the information immediately. Otherwise, it could be perceived. No, we're not gonna harm them. Otherwise, you must delete the information immediately. Otherwise, I will. Let's give them a time frame. Let's give them a statute of limitations. You must delete the information immediately within 30 days, because the U.S. Postal Service, hey, sometimes they get backed up, and depending on when it is that you're watching this video, it may be close to one of the de facto's holiday seasons, which is just any other attempt at just trying to get you, the uninformed consumer. Well, you're not uninformed anymore. You're watching this video. You're a genius because you're watching this video. But you, the formerly uninformed consumer, were not fully disclosed this information in regards to the reporting of information onto your credit report, all right, which could potentially damage your capacities for employment, as well as reduce your credit worthiness in the eyes of other creditors. All right, so if the creditor, quote unquote, Department of Education, Mrs. Smack review receives this document, right, and they do not respond within 30 days or correct the information within 30 days, this is what we're going to do. You must delete the information immediately within 30 days, or a complaint affidavit will be filed, not sent, will be filed with who? Federal Trade Commission, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the Attorney General of the state. We put this in brackets so that way, you could just fill in whatever information it is you need to fill in. Attorney General of the state in which you reside in, you being I, not me in this instance, but make this personal, put yourself in the first person perspective. So the state in which you reside in, right? The Better Business Bureau and the U.S. District Court for my region, well, your region. And the U.S. District Court for your region, my region, whatever, right? If you, let's go ahead and make another paragraph. If, let's go ahead and capitalize this, Department of Education, SMAC review does not respond after 30 days receipt of this affidavit. Well, we see that there's no like spell check on this, so you're gonna need to be very careful in regards to your spelling. But the good thing is that after you finish with this letter and you finish filling it out, you can copy it, paste it onto another word processing framework, and do a spell check on it. Do a grammar check on it. Make sure the language is clear and it's intelligible and it's legible. That's the reason why we're typing. If you don't have a computer or a laptop, I recommend you get a library card at your local branch. Those are federal buildings too. All right, just in case anyone is curious, the library is a federal building, because they do require you to have a federal form of identification in order for you to get a library card. And so that's how you know that it's a federal organization or a federal building, is any building that requires to see a government issued form of identification. That, my friends, is a federal building. So like anything that requires a state ID card could be perceived to be a government issued identification card, mostly just because it pertains to the local government buildings that are within that state. So like, your Department of Motor Vehicles membership card, aka your state driver's license, aka your state identification card. Those are quasi governmental agencies because they are subordinate to the federal government. But like if you're using a federal passport, like a national passport identification booklet or card, that is a federal form of identification. All right. And yes, we will be doing, well, if anyone is interested, leave a comment in down below, and I'll do a video on on just that, national ID cards. But check out the how to change your name, correct your name part 2 video. And in that video, I discussed the DS Form 11, which is the application for new passport booklets. If you're looking to renew your old passport, that's a different form that I believe is DS71. Okay. But in any case, let's go ahead and complete this out. If Department of Education SMAC review does not respond after 30 days receipt of this affidavit, the affiant, that's you, the individual writing this document, the affiant will deem the debt void and invalid let me go ahead and put this in quotation marks, ab initio, I-N-I-T-I-O, ab initio, which means from the start or from initiation. And the affiant, let's make this also, let's also correct this. The affiant and the notary public signed herein will deem the debt void and invalid ab initio. All right. Now, those of you who aren't familiar with the notary public's letter of default, Oh, don't worry about it. I got you. I got you. I'm actually going to do a video on that sometime in the near future, because a lot of us don't know how to use some of these common law weapons to our benefit. So, but don't worry about that. I got you. I got you. All right. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to put this little section called the notary acknowledgement, right? Which basically is something towards the effect of in the county of. We're gonna just like make this. We're gonna can't underline here, so we're gonna make this Miami County of Moorish Miami. Yeah, I like that. The state of Florida Republic. State of Florida Republic. I, L, Prince, the Affiant, swear, affirm, because you're not necessarily supposed to swear. Affirm or swear that the contents, that the statements made herein are true and correct under penalty of perjury. And then you have the notary sign, notary public. Their hold on, let's go back. Notary public signature. We gotta give the notary public a little security too. The individual presented identification ID, and you would leave a little spot in there for them to put your identification number in there, right? So the ID number, space, bracket, individual presents ID, or is personally known to be, in this instance, L. Now we have the notary public signature, which gives this document credit, and we're also going to put a little spot in there for the notary to put their seal, and we're going to have the notary public print their name, commission ends, what day, commission end date, and let's see, what else do we need? Oh, and then up here, all right, that's the notary public. You gotta put the Affiant's signature, Affiant's printed name, and if the Affiant has a seal, people have seals. It could even be this can also be transformed into a business document. Okay, so the Affiant signature, their seal, if they have one, the Affiant printed name. We already have the date. Let's go ahead and bring in a witness. So let's have them sign signature. Witnesses printed name. And for the sake of security, we're gonna have two witnesses sign. Signature number 2. Witness into name. Of course, you know, the affiant is going to sign this document in the presence of the notary. Okay, so we got all that, and notary public signature. And although this is not a credit repair video, don't worry, I will be doing a credit repair video. And then here we go. Let's see what we got. Show me what you got, little mama. Show me what you got, little lady. Isn't that smooth? Look at that. Make it legal. Follow checklist for free form letter. And then this is the beautiful part about this software, all right? In order for any piece of correspondence to be effective, your original signature or initials should be included on the signature line near the end of the document or somewhere within the document, depending on the nature of the document. Additionally, some documents may require or merit the signature of a notary public to verify your signature and or validity of the document. So, you know, aren't you glad I already included that notary acknowledgement in there for you as well? Oh, yes. Please contact me if you have any need of additional information. Seal. Bum bum. Nice, short, to the point. You know? So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is your quick, brief tutorial on how to write or construct an affidavit, the elements of an affidavit, you know, things that you should include into your affidavit. And yeah, like if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. The email is in the description bar down below. You can email me at moorstemplolit@gmail.com. If you have any questions, consultation is at the moment still free, but we are always accepting of donations. We do provide service at affordable fee, all right, because a workman is indeed worthy of their hire. And if you need any assistance with estate planning, living trust documents, credit repair, tax preparation, any petition preparation, once again, same way, same email, link me. Let's get you some remedy. Let's get you in there, all right? Let's get you in there to get you out of there, all right? A lot of people are afraid to get involved with the de facto's court system, but I say that you have nothing to fear but fear itself, all right? And really, you shouldn't be afraid to be afraid. The reason why is because your fear is an emotional stimulus or indicator to there being something going on that you have absolutely no reference material, source information to go on. So don't let the stress, you know, don't let the stress fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Please don't let the stress fuck with you. All right, take a deep breath, go get you a glass of water, you know, check your blood pressure, maybe you drink 3 glasses of water. You know, you might be dehydrated. That's the reason why you're suffering with those palpitations. Yes, I am a doctor of oriented medicine, certified, not licensed. But yeah, don't worry. We got health and wellness videos also on the way. I got health on the way. I got commerce on the way. I got lawful information on the way. That's what we're doing. So, all that being said, peace and love. You know the name and the company we own. We doing this for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Moorish Temple Light Trust Corps. We out this piece.